Alrighty then. How are you doing this evening, laddies? Got a question for you. I watched an old Sony YouTube video made by Sony, and it was talking of all the great benefits of tiny little mirrorless cameras. It was about the A7R2. I was like, well, isn't that special? Of course, once you mount a big, gigantic lens on there, it's as big as anything else. It's like, oh, the mirrorless camera, it's so small. It's like until you stick that big-ass lens on there, and then it's not so small anymore. Uh, Now, I think that video was from like a year and a half ago. Now, fast forward to today. This is the one that apparently all the new mouthpieces we'll be talking about. Now, this is the A99 II. Isn't that interesting? It's got the vertical grip on there. Now, this thing is not only is it not small, it's also not a huge camera either. It is Titanic. And apparently Sony says they're going to refresh the mount for the A99 II, so far as refresh it with lenses, start making lenses for this mount. I could have swore I just watched a video from a year and a half ago, talking about how great the small cameras are that they're making, and this thing makes my Nikon D810 with the vertical grip look absolutely minuscule by comparison. Yeah, you tell me, is that I'm not going to make any statements about that. What am I missing something here? Am I missing something? I could have swore that small was the future. Small was the future. Yeah, what about this, gun girlfriend? What about this? What is that? That thing is absolutely Titanic. It is the me of cameras. Wow. Really? Really? I used to do a lot of cave diving in Central Florida. Cave diving is insanely dangerous. I've done hundreds of cave dives. I'll dive in the Little River, Devil's Eye, Devil's Ear. That's actually the name of these springs in Central Florida. We dive in High Springs. I'm a certified cave diver. I got trained by the master instructor Brent Booth. I don't know if he's still dead, if he's alive or if he's dead. I have no idea. It's been ages ago. And man, you got to put on more equipment than someone that is like leaving the space shuttle to do a do an extravehicular spacewalk. And then you also got to lay down O2 decompression tanks at the 25-foot mark, and I got to get trained on nitrox, and then I eventually got trained on trimix, and then I bought an underwater scooter which basically ran off of 2 car batteries. Then I had to design my own harness that clipped into my double redundancy buoyancy control device, and I'd hit the trigger on that. I mean, I had to have cave lights that were encased in gigantic cans of Lexan. Enormous beast. And then the wires would run up my arm to hand held brackets with a big light on it, underwater lights with halogen bulbs in there. The lights were incredibly expensive. That cave diving gear was incredibly expensive. That gear was insanely expensive. It weighed so much that you just about break your neck. You had to put it in the water and float it with your BCD. Put it on, and then get down, clip onto your scooter, underwater scooter, dive propulsion vehicle, and then that's actually the noise it'd make underneath water when you hit the. Wow. I remember once seeing this skinny little girl. She was a cave diver. I forget her name. I think it was Alyssa, and everybody loved her because she was so cool. Not that she was really that great of a cave diver, but that little girl could stick on, 300 pounds worth of gear. She must have been like 90 pounds wet. And she fit perfectly into that Lycra dive suit. The waters for cave diving are always the same temperature year-round. 72.2 degrees, I believe, 72 point something. And it was so funny. She laid down oxygen decompression tanks. She'd throw her scooter in the water. It'd actually fall to the floor or the lip of the cave. And you pick it up and you stick haul her tanks down. She'd drag them, and she's just killing herself because the tanks that we were dove on double steel 90 tanks, And we had crossbar harnesses in case we'd actually break a valve. We could actually do emergency shut off. There's all sorts of redundancies because once you're back there in the cave, you can't surface. You might only be 80 feet down, but you're thousands of feet in. So it's the same as being thousands of feet underneath the water because the nearest opening is where the hell you started. And it is so dangerous to cave dive, but it's so much fun too. So much fun. I remember the funnest thing I ever had was reaching this dome room and taking a break. I'd inflate my BCD, my buoyancy control device, and I'd hang upside down on top of this large dome in a underwater cave at about 90 feet. And there's some foods that are really awesome for cave diving because they don't melt or dissolve in the water. One of them's a Snickers bar. So I'd unzip my pouch and then take out my Snickers bar, take out my regulator, which I would dive Poseidon Odins. They're made in Sweden. Yeah, Sweden's the best at making diving gear. And nibble on a Snickers bar for a second, and I stick my regulator back in. I'd hang upside down like a bat on the side of the ceiling inside this underwater cave. Totally alone. It's just beautiful and stark and awesome. It's never a good idea to cave dive alone, by the way. It's a really bad idea, but I would do it all the time. Anyway, the point being, like, that skinny little girl just kind of like this mirrorless nonsense. And the mirrorless camera's so small. He's like, yeah, well, I've got some news for you. A mirrorless camera, okay, it cannot take pictures. It needs something really big on the front there called a lens and a speed light and then more battery. This is huge. This is not mirrorless, obviously. This has a permanent semi-translucent mirror that hangs down there, so I'm not saying this is a mirror. This is huge. Sorry I digressed there about cave diving. Yeah, but this is huge. Yeah, that's not too small. I'm pretty sure that is slightly in contradiction with that video that I saw about a year and a half ago. I'm fairly certain that small mirrorless is the future. Yeah, this is a new product from you guys. With the vertical grip, it is absolutely Titanic. It's Titanic. You can't reinvent the wheel, girlfriend. The wheel really cannot be reinvented. Good. Bye. I hope. Yeah. What do you think of that one? Bye.